Hello, hello, hello. Welcome now, Stock Trades. Hope everyone's doing well today. Happy Thursday. Okay, guys. So it's been a while since we've talked. It's been a couple days here. Just wanted to say hi, hello. How's everything? I have a lot to talk to you guys about. Because kind of a little bit, kind of a table of context of what we're going to be discussing today is. Uh, I just recently had a conference. I was able to do one oral presentation, and then I also presented 6 posters regarding anywhere between AI, neurogenomics, and disparities, and those types of research catalogs. Within that, I had a great keynote speaker that will definitely be of interest for you guys, that is responsible for trying to oversee how to treat diverse, historically, marginalized and also sick populations. How do you do that? How do you create systems within a broken healthcare system to take care of marginalized patients, especially geriatric patients? With that, the reason why it's of interest, I believe, for the audience is she has an H index of 64. She's from Harvard, and I asked her about what does she see, because she mentioned that there needs to be a better integrated health system than Epic and Cerner, and everything she was describing was Clover Assistant. So I asked her about it, and she said she knows about it, and she's like, so I'll talk more about that, and I'll talk about the current state of the market, what's been going on, and ultimately, from what I hear, United Healthcare, um, there's been some layoffs, I believe, from United Healthcare. If I don't recall, someone mentioned some layoffs. So uh, we're starting to see um, uh, healthcare incumbents deleverage in trying to, decrease their operational expenses, but also um, trying to find ways to cut costs. So if you look at United Healthcare, it's pretty much starting to rebound. There's a lot of stepwise drop, um, and then now it's because of their earnings. It's pretty much that's why I don't really talk too much about United Healthcare. They're a very strong company. They have layers within layers. If you look at the past 6 months, United Healthcare is down 7.23%. But if you look at Humana, the last 6 months, it's down 37.86%. And if you look at Clover, the last 6 months, it's down negative 32.86%. Now, interestingly, Ken here says Clover's going down with small caps. Well, you're right, but also you want to add large caps too. So since March 27 till April 18, we've had a decline of approximately 5% in the S&P 500. And if we were to look at March 27 here for Humana, there's a 12% drop with some rebound. If you go ahead and take a look at March 27, which is kind of around here, there was a 10% drop in United Healthcare. And if you go ahead and take a look at here on March 27, there was also a drop as well and some recovery. And if you look at, like I said, Clover, here's March 27 and 80 cents. And then there was a huge drop, about 20%. So obviously there's different levels of drop, and that all has to deal with free cash flow, profitability, and all the fundamental discussions. So, so the question is, why are we seeing this drop? Well, the market needs to rebalance and recover. But this seems to be a pretty significant drop, given that these drops don't look as significant. So when I have a question like this, I tend to turn to the VIX. So what is the VIX? The VIX is a volatility measure. Let me see if I can get you here. Okay. All right, here it is. Let me open up the mastering here. So go to mastering. Let's go to home. I believe we can look up, or we can go to fear. Look up fear. Look at the fear and greed index. I think this is where it's at. Yeah. So if you look at the volatility index here, you can see that it it's been slowly going down, which is why the market's been doing well. But all of a sudden, um, we are starting to see an increase. We went from 13 all the way up to 20. And the market now, here's another way of looking at it. Whoop, hold on. Give me one moment. Because if she calls one time, she's gonna call again. Hold on. All right. Sorry about that, guys. So let me just go ahead and show you guys this here. So if you look at the VIX, the past 5 days, the VIX is up 6.82%. And then if you look at the past month, the VIX is up 30%. So I know like it may not seem a lot, 13 going to 18, but this is a pretty significant increase, right? And overall, year to date, the VIX is up 36.36%. So that's why the market's kind of being cautious. So a lot of people are being cautious on adding, and this has to deal with the potentially sticky inflation, uh, the fact that maybe the Federal Reserve may not cut this year, um, the fact that maybe they're going to be prolonging and there could be a recession, but we'll see what earnings is going to have to say to that. And the big one is Iran and Israel conflict. So if we go ahead, and I don't know the exact date, I haven't done, but I'm assuming it's probably March 27th, but we'll see because that's when the market dropped, right? So when did Israel attack the Iran embassy? So April 1st. So I guess the market, that kind of leads us to some conspiracy talk. So think about it. So let's go here. Let's go to month. So March 27th. So here's April 1st. And the market, yeah, you see that here's April 1st, and the market dipped 1%. Then it rebounded, but then it went ahead and so something happened March 27th. I got to figure out what the date was, but I'm trying to figure out what's been going on. But ultimately, what I'm gathering from my institutional data sets is this is a cautiously optimistic buy the dip opportunity. As what Ken was saying, the next 2 months, healthcare is going to be popping, but Clover not in that category yet. We'll see. Retail is selling, which hits small caps harder. Yeah, and if we were to just give me a moment here, let me get you just so you guys have, you know, uh, just so you guys have the information because this is it's unfortunate. But you remember how I told you, like for the longest time, so first off, this is smart money and dumb money. And you know how like you have your own investment portfolio? Well, your data gets sold to the highest bidder. And since you have under $100 million, I assume the people watching this channel, right? Who knows? We could be getting some stragglers, right? Um, you are reported as dumb money, and people that are smart money that have institutional investment filings through SEC, they have to, are considered smart money. And what we're starting to see here is we're starting to see a divergence, right? So we haven't seen a divergence. So the last time we saw a divergence was here, right? This is called a positive divergence, where smart money exits in terms of their buying power stops, and dumb money takes it on. So that shows me that stocks rose up highly as smart money, watched dumb money pump it up. And now there was a drop, and just as you were saying, retail selling, dumb money selling, and smart money is buying. So this is a great opportunity because again, like we said in our article that we published here. If you go on again, free articles, I try to make everything free. The only thing that's not free is our data, which I have to pay for. So that's why we have that. But if you look at the put and call ratio, every time people are fearful, it's a buying opportunity. And if you look at the fear now, I'm sure it's going to be high. In fact, we can just go ahead and let me just go ahead and get you the data now, so we can just see. You um, let's take a look at here. Let's take a look at kind of what we're seeing here. Yeah, so the data is yeah, so it definitely has increased from 0.53 to 0.64. So pretty much, yeah. So people are more fearful now. So this is obviously, another cautiously optimistic by the dip opportunity. If you look at year to date now, Humana is down 30. Uh, United Healthcare is down 8.56. So Humana's negative 3x of that of United Healthcare, and then Clover's down 34, and then Alignment Healthcare is down 39. So uh, ultimately, that's kind of what I'm seeing with the market in regards to the current state of things. That's kind of the factors, and it all goes back down to fundamentals. Um, it all goes back to essentially uh, when is Clover Health going to become profitable, and that's what they're working on right now. So uh, Clove is not falling in line with other healthcare stocks. It's hard like a small. Yeah, no, of course, exactly. Again, small caps with the sticky inflation, seasonal drawdown. July seems, yeah, I definitely see that, and then also what the Federal Reserve says, and also the PCE and other macro indicators will be heavily weighted. Clove could be the best or worst investment made. No, yeah, I instead, I'd say 3 years, 5 years, but this goes back to um, why am I talking about the stock, right? Why am I talking? Well, first off, I could talk about whatever stock I want, right? This is, so it's right. So that's there, right? So this is my stocks that I believe have value, and if you don't believe that or not, you're free to comment that, and you're free to spam the page. I have no problem with that. Just don't be annoying. But you ask a question, no, you didn't ask a question. You didn't even say why I'm talking about it, but I'm gonna explain why for folks. Um, I believe we're in a transition point in healthcare. We are starting to see 10,000 Americans turn 65 every day. Healthcare utilization spend is getting expensive, and doctors are pretty much checking out now. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Like, I saw some really crazy research at the U of A uh, um, yesterday. Something that I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share this because it's, that's the whole point of poster presentations for. So one of my colleagues did this research, and unfortunately, other med schools declined her from doing research at their location, which is terrible, but not uh, um, uh, it was expected, to say the least. So just to give you an example of what I'm talking about, I'm going to get my colleague's picture out of the hair because she did not consent um, for that. I'm sure she'll be fine, but if I just with respects, I'm just going to show her research. So let me go ahead and send this on over to my Mac. I don't know if you heard that. It's sending. And hopefully it opens up. Okay. That's fine. I'll just hit download. So this one here. So just to give you an example here. So this was she did a study that looked at medical students, and it's interesting because 6 in every 10 medical students at UACOM Tucson uses prescription antidepressants, anti-anxiety, and or stimulant medications. And 31% was the start at medical school with diagnosis, start medical school with depression, anxiety. 34% are diagnosed during medical school. And then 66% of this of the medical students said that their symptoms worsened in medical school. So the point that I'm sharing with you guys that, here is, many people think I'm crazy. Like, how am I able to manage all this? And I'm just a different breed in terms of doing all that I'm doing. But let it not be twisted. Twisted, right? Medical school is very difficult, and what makes it difficult is not it's not the science. It's the toxic culture of medicine, and a lot of doctors are checking out now. Um, it, it, I guess what I'm trying to tell you guys is just the healthcare system is broken, and you can see from this data that the medical students are broken. So by the time, and these medical students are, we're still babies, or we're like the full gas in the tank. But this is obviously to me, is a natural response, because if to all my vets that have proudly served our country, God bless you all. But if I put our American citizens in a conflict of what veterans that have served this country have gone through, you're telling me that they're not gonna develop PTSD? Are you telling me that the people that are born with PTSD? Well, it's not in the name. It's post traumatic, right? It's post, and increases in PTSD can increase the generation of depression and potentially ADHD as well. I don't have data to support that. I'm sure there is data. I've studied enough the molecular pathways to make a hypothesis. But this is environmental. Okay, so you tell me, to all of the patients and all of the people in here that are uh, invested in healthcare companies, you tell me, how do you expect America to get a good, patients to get a good healthcare when the physicians themselves, the medical students themselves are broken? And what's interesting is what the medical students say that broke them was how how they were treated, and the culture, and how toxic medicine is. I've seen stories of where they were cursed at, they were shoved, someone threw an object at them. Like, this is not a workplace environment. This is not, that to me doesn't sound healing to you, doesn't it? Right? Does that sound like healthcare to you? So, I grew up on the streets, so if I experience stuff like this, I'm used to it. But the fact of the matter is, someone shouldn't excel in this toxic environment because they grew up on the streets, right? So the point that I'm telling you is our healthcare system is broken, and if you add this issue and compound it with the issue of healthcare insurance companies that are denying access to physicians to do their job, along with our American diet that's been lobbied with sugar and pharma to put a Band-Aid on the problem instead of actually fixing the issue. I mean, like, we're like chuckling yesterday. I used to work in a epigenetic diabetes lab, and we were just laughing. We're like, we don't really know the long-term effects of Ozempic, and here we are just giving them now, like, shooting up like candy, and people are seeing amazing results, but we don't know the long-term effects of Ozempic. Is it going to cause cancer? We don't know, right? So that leads me to the discussion of the talk I had with one of the keynote speakers, questions, and she was saying that Cerner and Epic, they don't give you evidence-based practices, and the way evidence-based structures are is, let me see if I can find it here for you guys. What is the strongest study in medicine? So I'm expecting a triangle. Yeah, okay, good. So you can see how you have background information, expert opinion. Expert opinion is really not that great because that's opinion, and opinions can be construed, not manipulated, construed by the environment and that of which the experienced physician or scientist is around. There's case control studies, cohort studies, randomized controlled trials, and the pillar is systematic reviews. But again, garbage in, garbage out, right? You got to be careful. And if you go ahead and if you go to PubMed for the NIH database, and you type in my name, I'm gonna be having more with I'm gonna have more with uh, what you call it, papers coming in soon. But these are all systematic reviews. In fact, let's go to here. So this is a systematic review of, and this is the data here, and the results help guide therapy. It takes in a corpus amounts of data, and it's able to do a lot. And ultimately, these help guide treatment, and hopefully. And the reason being is they're systematic reviews, and they take a bunch of data and they try to make sense out of it, right? And sometimes in meta-analysis, we add statistics to see if it's even worth doing it, right? So she had two great slides that I liked. She said, assume 100% therapy has 100% satisfaction, or patients are healed. No therapy exists as 100%, but follow the idea. She said that the biggest issue is adoption of the physician using it. Adoption, physician believing it works, X, Y, and Z, X, Y, and Z. By the time you get to it, a 100% benefit is equivalent to a 3% benefit. The problem is by the time someone graduates medical school and residency, and let's say they're 20 years out, how are you telling me that they're going to still practice evidence-based medicine? Well, hopefully with this new creation, but back in the 80s and 90s, this wasn't really the case. There wasn't the words evidence-based wasn't really, I mean, heck, Purdue Pharma created they cited a paper that wasn't even a paper. It was a letter to the editor. And the FDA was like, okay, so it was like two sentences, and they built $1 billion business on those two sentences, right? And they paid off the FDA guy too, because somehow he got a job after, right, with Purdue. So, what's interesting is Clover is actually having CA adoption, and they are using it. And to see this is happening is crazy. There exists no Clover assistant, or what this amazing physician was saying is from Harvard. She was saying that there needs to be something that does evidence-based, that helps augment and help assist the physician, not replace, but assist. And Clover's doing that. So, I think, for me, this is a long-term hold. This is a big long-term hold for me, right? I believe in this company, and I do believe that this company is going to shape how medicine is practiced. It takes time. Folks don't, there's some folks that don't understand, and and then but I feel like, to all my physician colleagues that are watching, I do recommend you use your voices to talk about, from your medical knowledge, why you believe in this company, because I mean, because what I'm seeing is if this pans out, this can be very revolutionary for how the practice of medicine is implemented. So, what's the explanation for us not being able to generate other states like we did in New Jersey? Yeah. So the thing is it's the star ratings kind of hampers the growth of there. Gaining in a state is very difficult. It requires physician adoption. This is a very slow game, and and honestly, I think retail investors couldn't have picked a more boring stock than Clover. I know it has AI appeal and everything, but health insurance is pretty boring, right? So I think like retail investors will start leaving. They're going to talk a bunch of shit and then they're going to end up leaving. But for the ones that basically see the future of this company, they're ultimately going to be rewarded. So, what are the thoughts about Cloven 3? So it's very difficult to ascertain within a time frame. But what I can tell you my expectations, what I like to see, right? I want to see a 3.5 stars or better, at least for the year of 2026, and hopefully on a pathway to 4 stars. And if not 4 stars, I want to see that. I want to see them free cash flow positive to where the members that they have now can offset future growth to where they can become free cash flow zero because they're growing. And the members that they have now is going to be basically satisfying and fueling the growth of the members they're going to have in the future. That's what I see. Yeah. Big healthcare can afford to not care about the future. They have their slice of the market cut out now. Until market demands better care, they are. Well, that's the thing. AF CMS is demanding better care now, and the models for what cow care is looked at is changing, which is why CMS didn't listen to Humane or United Healthcare. So people are waking up about healthcare, right? So I'm gonna hold the stock, but whenever they that sell day comes, that will be the last time I buy a small cap. Yeah, no, no, it's definitely tough, man. I tell you, no, it definitely is. But you know, I want your guys' opinions on this. What do you think about this? What do you think about the statistics? This is IRB approved. This was a poster presentation, right? What do you think about this? And I've encouraged her to publish this information. She was afraid that people wouldn't want her because this is obviously this doesn't look good for medical school, right? But I think this data is synonymous for every medical school, if not worse, uh, in every in the United States. As someone who's going to be an academic clinician, my response to this is no. We need to publish this data, and maybe we might find a medical school that's maybe 3 out of 10, and we need to figure out why that medical school is that way, and we need to figure out and do a root cause analysis. This is not, now we're talking about public health and stuff, right? Root cause analysis to figure out what can be done for this to be implemented in other medical schools, so medical students don't suffer this. Because if you look, we can go ahead and laugh. There's a culture of stigmatization and laughing at students, but I want to guide you here. Let me see here. Physician suicide rate. Let's say that. Go higher. So each year in the U.S., roughly 300, 400 physicians die by suicide. Suicide deaths are 250 to 400% higher among female physicians when compared to what? Females in other professions. Oh, that's what it's saying. And in the general population, males commit suicide 4 times more often than females. Isn't that weird? When I say weird, this is crazy, right? And just so you can see kind of the issue here, just so you can see, how many physicians are there in the United States? I think it's 1 million. Yeah. So if you take 1 million, so if you take this number and you take 400 divided by this number, you get, it may not seem like a lot, but if you take this data and you add it to the suicide rate and do some statistics, you can see, I mean, they do it here, I guess, right? So this is 2016, right? You can imagine what the COVID pandemic did. Imagine go talk to an ER doctor and see what the hell happened, right? Uh, so so you can see, this is the big issue. Okay, when you have 300 to 400 doctors killing themselves, this is not like dying of a disease. This is doctors killing themselves, killing themselves. Okay. Medical student rate of depression is 15 to 30% higher than that of the general population. Depression is a major risk factor in physician suicide. And honestly, I think this is underreported. And to be honest, I think this is underreported. Maybe it's a little better than the general population, given that the person did the research is the most sweetest woman I've ever met. Okay. So this is a big problem. And if we don't talk about it, then it's a big issue. But the reason why I'm mentioning it to you guys here is if you look at the life expectancy by country, and to all the doctors that are listening, you're like, yes, I've heard this so many times, right? But there's people that haven't learned this. We spend the most on healthcare. We are by far the most capitalistic, disgusting spenders on healthcare. But our life expectancy is not number one, right? Wait, hold on. I'm sorry, my dog's right. No. Our life expectancy. Okay, actually, this is by country. So let's scroll down to see the United States. Okay. All right. I should put a freaking time, Jeopardy music. Do 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 do. Oh, here it is. Okay. We are next to Estonia. We're next to Oman. Okay. Like, we're next to the Czech Republic. We're next to Thailand. No offense to these countries, but we are the United States of America, okay? And there's nothing united about this. There's nothing united about that 6 in every 10 medical students, especially, 60% of them said their symptoms worsened, and medical school made it bad. This is not united at all. This is disgusting. Okay. And how do we expect future physicians? And then how do we expect physicians that 400 of them killed each other? Sorry, no, it's not kill each other, kill themselves. How do we expect us to be number one in health? Sometimes we have to look inward in order to look outward. And I think AI, and I think its ability to remove the paperwork and the tasks with that honestly really caused the burnout for doctors. I think those being removed will potentially cause this to shift upwards, because then doctors are going to be more involved with a patient health care outcomes. You're going to bring back the humanity in medicine. I put an asterisk on that, because if we let AI do everything, then that goes away. We're going to catch diabetes earlier, which we already see with the Clover Assistant. We're going to be able to make sure patients are taking their medication, which CA is already doing. And we're going to help decrease the drop in GFR for chronic kidney disease, which CA is already doing, along with medication adherence for, all the, ulcerative colitis and Crohn's disease that patients have, checkups, mammograms, et cetera, some HPV testing, all that stuff, right? So that's all I have for you guys. I just want to give you. So we went from kind of the market, and I took a pivot because I really want people to know about this. This sickens me, right? This is just sad. And so next time you go to your doctor, I need you to look at them, and I need you to think in your head and say, 300 to 400 of this physician's friends are going to kill themselves this year. And then next year, 300 to 400 of this physician's friends and colleagues are going to kill themselves. And the next year after that, around 300 to 400 are going to kill themselves again and again and again and again. So So that's a big issue, and yeah, I'm gonna raise a little bit more awareness on this, because how do you expect to? Because you guys are all gonna get old someday, right? So we got to make sure the healthcare is good, right? So we're all going to be affected by this, right? And even if we weren't, we still should strive to make it better. All right, so Al, I totally buy into the longer term vision. Why isn't senior management not buying the stock? So we got some buying, but the thing is, the founders already have a lot. So I don't know what buying won't really solve the issue. Um, it's the fun it's the fundamentals, right? And that's what they're working on. What's the difference between Clover from Oscar and Alignment Healthcare? Seems to me that Clover has most with the technology. Yeah, we could do a comparison in the future videos. I did 2 videos, one on Oscar and one on Alignment Healthcare separate. You can watch those, but we could kind of glue those together. Clover earnings expected May 14th, so we have 26 days. For the love of God, I hope we get some news before then. Oh, I'm telling you, I agree. I'm hopeful too, and hopefully we can do a nice surprise. So far, they've beaten earnings quarter after quarter. So, but as you guys know, that seems not to matter. But I hope this was a helpful video. And next time you see a physician and doctor, uh, tell them thank you. And yeah, that's all I have to say, guys. This is very sad. This is very sad. Um, yeah, and here's the thing, and the medical schools are trying. It's just you have a broken system. If you expect a sane person to not be broken by the system, then that person who's still sane is probably like really messed up. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, right? But we gotta do better. All right, guys, I'll see you on the next one.